And welcome to our first Game of Thrones breakdown. We're doing it's season 7, episodes 1 and 2 tonight, and Dom.
Game of Thrones is back, y'all. So we're going to be covering in this episode of our Game of Thrones recap, we're going to be covering episode 1, Dragonstone, and episode 2, Stormborn. So,
can I say something about episode 1 real quick before we jump in?
Sure, man. What's up?
There was a lot of hype going into that episode. I'm surprised the internet didn't break after the first episode.
Well, if you think in true Game of Thrones fashion, usually the big episode for any Game of Thrones is like the second to last episode.
Yeah.
So when everything happens.
Last season, the last 2 episodes were good. It was Battle of the Bastards and I can't remember the name, but Cersei kind of blew the sept up. So
yeah,
blew
the sept up.
But
Jon became king in the north.
But anyways, let's hop right in.
All right.
Start it off.
So right off from the gate, we start off with what we think is Walder Frey addressing
maybe a flashback.
Yeah,
probably.
I was almost confused for a second.
I remember I was watching it with my girlfriend, and she said, "Is this a flashback? I think this might be a flashback." And then we get into it, and then
surprise! It's Arya Stark. So
wearing the skin of Walter frickin' Frey.
So as you know, in the previous couple of seasons, Arya actually went and trained under the House of Black and White
with the Faceless Men.
With the Faceless Men, and so she acquired the ability to basically blend in and steal the faces of those that she kills. And so, of course, at the very end of season 6, she finally avenges her brother and her mother at the Red Wedding.
Well, her entire family, basically.
Well, most people recognize, Robb and his girlfriend and
fiance.
Yeah, fiance, and then of course Mama Stark. So finally getting the revenge, killing off all the Frey bloodline, and also now the episode.
That was one hell of a way to start out a season. I will say I did not expect them to just off a whole house the first episode.
Well, not only did they off the whole house, but what was really cool is that they threw everyone for a loop, because normally in traditional Game of Thrones fashion, the episode starts with the title, the title credits with the amazing, the best theme ever.
Shall we do it again?
And yeah, no. We'll save it. We'll save it for another time. But we definitely, at least I thought it was cool how they kind of introduced that bit before actually playing the main theme over. So you had no idea what to expect. It was kind of like, whoa, the show's starting? So anyways, so we transitioned from that, and now we're way up north. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, okay, the scene opens with, after the opening credits, we see we're somewhere up north, and we see wind blowing north, and then we see something coming south, and it looks like a blizzard, and it just so happens to be the Night King and the army of the dead. And as they're coming through, if you notice, this is the army from Hardhome. If you look at what the corpses are wearing, those are the corpses from Hardhome, and he has not 1, not 2, but 3 giant whites, and I can guarantee you we didn't see him in there, but
we saw. If
no.
Hodor, we didn't see Hodor.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. We didn't see Hodor, but I'm willing to bet my bottom dollar that we will see a zombie Hodor.
I'd put money on that.
In this season, up north, it's probably gonna have to do something with Bran, or he's gonna see him as a white, but something crazy is gonna happen.
But remember, they had the giant from the Battle of the Bastards. I'm actually drawing a blank.
1-1?
I think, yeah, 1-1. The giant 1-1. He was actually at the Battle of the Bastards. He assisted Jon Snow and the wildlings
Wait
to
a
take
minute.
over Winterfell. And you see when the camera pans forward.
Wait a minute. Not. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But didn't he say after? No. I'm thinking about Rick Horn. I'm thinking about he said Barry's bones in the crypts. But anyways, continue.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so we basically the scene ends with a close up of the Giants' face. We see it's 1-1. He's missing an eye. So that's really cool. We basically so you know that they're about to hit the wall with everything they got. I mean, John basically flat out admits there was no way that they barely made it with in the Battle of the Bastards fighting off Ramsay. If Sansa hadn't called in Littlefinger with
They
would have
got mowed down.
and there would be no one
not have
defending
been
the wall.
pretty.
The Night's Watching protected.
And
shit.
on that note, I'm gonna predict the end of the season. I said this to you, and I think to everybody else. At the end of the season, one of the last things we're gonna see is the wall just coming down. I've got a pretty good feeling that we're just gonna see the wall just collapse. Because you've got to remember, now that Bran is on the other side of the wall, the Night King marked him in that vision, and you got to remember.
Well, it's kind of like a vampire in a way. Like
Yeah.
a vampire can't come into your home unless you invite him in the old, the way vampires really should be. So I mean, it's kind of maybe that's the way of like, he marked Bran in that vision. Bran now, perfect segue actually. Bran, we see after that whole vision of the White Walker army heading towards the wall, we see Bran and Mira make it to the wall. He addresses the Night's Watch. They validate that he's actually Bran Stark, and they let him and Mira pass the wall into
Castle Black.
Into Castle Black, exactly. And so, that's probably all the Night King needs to be able to access and come through the wall.
And we see that he's going to be in Winterfell from the trailers and the previews released before the season starts. So he's going to get to Winterfell at some point, and I think that's when he's gonna drop the Jon Targaryen bomb on everybody. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, Bran's the only one that knows, what's R plus L equals J, major.
That was a popular theory
for
the last.
Major theory. I mean, we know that Jon was for the large portion of the show and of the books, he was basically assumed to be the bastard son of Eddard Stark and a lady lover while he was fighting, Robert Baratheon's war. And so when we find out in the season closer of season 6, we find out that it's actually Eddard's sister
Lyanna and Rhaegar.
Well, in the show, they never actually fully commit that it's Rhaegar. But we as an audience, because all the story is being told that Rhaegar and her
the dots.
eloped and they left to go to the tower and whatnot. And so, I mean, if he's not a Targaryen, I'd be so mad at this point.
But
he has actually. But think about that. If he is the true son of Rhaegar Targaryen,
he's got more of a claim to the throne
than Daenerys.
But the thing is, I mean, he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
But transitioning to
we still have a really important bit in Winterfell. Jon now has taken a position as King of the North.
Mm-hmm.
He's been sworn in by all of their pledges from their lands in the North, and so against Sansa's wishes, he basically gets houses Umbor and Karstark.
And let's not actually, I'll let you finish and I'll comment on what I was going to say.
Yeah, it's basically, it was just a big point of to show kind of Jon Snow's character is that, those two houses that he basically has them repledge their allegiance to House Stark. They actually fought, members of their family actually fought for Ramsay Bolton in the Battle of the Bastards against Jon Snow, but Jon made the point to Sansa.
He killed Little John Umber, didn't he?
I'm not quite sure that he was directly responsible, but basically the main point of it was that he had the, he felt the honor should stay within the two families, and that it wasn't on the entire family. It was only on certain members that chose, out of fear, to side with Ramsay because they didn't want to die and get skinned alive and burnt.
My point, something I think you kind of skimmed over. The Night's Watch is gonna turn into the Wildling Watch, which I'm okay with that. But so yeah, the Night's Watch can't really man all the castles. And Jon pretty much told Tormund that the Wildlings are gonna have to be the Night's Watch now and watch the castles, which I think is a very fun thing to watch. But also in the promo art, I mean in the promo stuff that we've seen, Tormund is in that hunting party that goes north with Jon, and they get enclosed with all those walkers. So not walkers, whites. My bad. Different show.
Well, they're white. They're
Different
White
show.
Walkers. They say that's that's a fair name. I mean, that's something that they are known by as White Walkers.
But let's take a trip down on south to King's Landing. What's going on there?
Well, to segue into a really important part before we hit King's Landing, we actually discovered, then it goes over to the Citadel. We see Samwell Tarly, now ex-member of the Night's Watch. He is now a maester, and he's actually...
Wait a minute, I thought he was going to become the maester of the Night's Watch.
Well,
yeah, of Castle Black.
Of Castle Black, exactly. He was kind of like their liaison, and so we see how he makes it there. I mean, but his first... Was it his first?
That montage was disgusting. That montage was nasty.
Yeah, I mean, literally piss and shit everywhere. But excuse our French, for lack of a better expression there. But so anyways, he goes all Hermione Granger. He sees there's a restricted section to the library. He wants a part of it. He knows that there's crucial information he needs to get to Jon to help him fight the White Walkers. So he steals the keys, goes to the restricted section, and finds a book on Dragonglass and how the story that Stannis Baratheon actually told him, I think it was back in season 5,
that the Dragonstone,
a huge amount of Dragonglass just unmined underneath Dragonstone.
So there's about a 0% chance if the Night King figures out a way to freeze all the oceans or whatever and walk on down the Dragonstone, there ain't no way he's getting in because, well, if he gets in, they're gonna die.
Yeah, they're gonna die. So, but yeah, definitely. Let's head over to. Well, we know that Samwell sends the Raven to Jon to let him know about the information. Also, we finally reveal that Jorah Mormont is alive. And he's still suffering from grayscale, but it's gotten like a lot worse. But we cut over to the Hound. So maybe you can take it from here.
Yeah. So the Hound and the Brotherhood Without Banners. He meets in season 6 after helping build the church for the Seven, and he slaughters the guys that killed the people that were building the church, and he basically becomes part of the Brotherhood Without Banners. He joins up with Thoros of Myr and Beric Dondarrion. I said both those right, correct? And so basically they go back to and help me out here.
They go back to the family home from season 4.
I just couldn't remember where it was.
Well, it was.
Wasn't it somewhere in the? Was it in the Twins?
I think it was out. I think it was outside the Twins. You correct us if we're wrong, but I can't remember exactly. I mean, that was 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
But I mean, this was back when Arya was traveling with the Hound.
And the Hound was kind of a
Dick.
I was gonna say jerk for the kids watching. Dominic, what are you doing? But
we're all adults here. He was kind of a dick.
Yeah, a little bit.
Little
Considering
bit.
he's part of he is the reason that they died. So he kind of beat the hell out of the out of that farmer and took his silver and said to Arya, "They're not going to survive winter." And they come back to his house. Livestock's dead. It looks deserted, and he walks in the house with the Brotherhood, and he finds their skeletons.
Yeah, the farmer and his daughter both died. Either any way could have been possible. I mean, they basically allude to the fact that he basically ended his daughter's suffering and then ended his own life.
Mm-hmm.
There could be the argument be made that they both died of starvation, or maybe he died of starvation, but at least because of the winter coming, that he put his daughter out of her misery, so she didn't have to go through all that. But
and he also learned. He also
from the Lords of Light. Remember, he gets the vision.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Going to that. Sorry.
Yeah. So the Hound, he could give two craps about really anything other than good chicken and women and swords.
Give me every chicken in here.
So he could care less about really prophecy or anything of higher power, and so running into and learning more about the Lords of Light.
It's just my luck. I end up with a bunch of fire worshippers.
Yep. So but he sees a vision in the fire pit, and he sees visions of the wall and of the Night King and his army, and he knows some shit's about to go down. So he takes the run on, with the other members. And now they're heading over. Did they say where they're heading to exactly, or did they kind of just?
I think they're just going. I think they're just going north. I think they're just going nowhere. Going north, and I mean, I think they either meet up by chance with Jon, or I don't know.
It would be an interesting turn of events if they did happen to go north, make it to Winterfell. And now Arya,
she's gonna be like, "Oh, wait a minute! I left you for. Why are you alive?
Yeah,
I thought
spoiler alert. She left him for dead.
Died.
What was it? That was actually season 5.
Yeah. The season finale of season 5.
The Hound and Brienne of Tarth.
And he got his ass beat.
Yeah. Well, it was actually a pretty close fight. I mean, the Hound is no show pony when it comes to fighting. He's all and he's not all talk. He can back up the talk with actual swordplay. And it was going pretty evenly for a while. I mean, he got some good hits on Brienne, but then he fell off a cliff and literally fell off a cliff.
But
going on now, this is all the storylines for episode 1 in the north. We head deep south to King's Landing
to the deep south.
To the deep south here in Alabama.
Roll Tide.
So anyways, we see Euron Greyjoy. He comes in with his fleet of ships.
Looking like a freaking rock star.
Yeah, he shows up on the doorstep of King's Landing, basically asking Cersei for her hand in marriage.
With 2 good hands,
yeah, 2 good hands. We all know Jaime doesn't feel good about having 2 hands anymore. Anyways, so he proposes marriage to Cersei. Of course, her being in love with her brother, she's not all into that. But he promises to bring her back a gift to prove her loyalty, because the reason why she rejects his advances for marriage is because
crazy.
Well, yeah, he's crazy, and he actually fought. Euron Greyjoy actually fought before his exile. He actually fought against House Lannister. What was it, in the Battle of Blackwater?
He burned the No. You're
not
thinking
Blackwater.
No, he's the one that started Robert. No. He's the one that started the Iron Islands Rebellion.
Yep, that was a big moment.
He went up to Lannisport, and I think the way that Jaime says it, he went up to Lannisport and burned the Lannister fleets.
Well, he burned the Lannister fleets, but then, Jaime even said, or not Jaime, Euron actually complimented Jaime by saying he enjoyed watching Jaime, a Lannister, kill Greyjoy men, Bannermen and Greyjoy bloodline men, because he was so impressed with Jaime's skills in combat.
Did he say it was like a dance or like a symphony?
I think he said it was like a dance. He said it was just watching his own men get brutally murdered by Jaime Lannister, and he thought that's how you know the dude's little one flew over the cuckoo's nest.
In the books, and this is the last thing I want to say before we move on to the last point in the episode. He's addicted in the books. He's addicted to the Westerosi version of
Like
of
heroin?
heroin or crack or something like that.
He's on some kind of drugs in
He's
the books.
literally
They
a
kind of skate over that in the book.
he's literally a
in the
rock
show,
star. He's kind of an actual rock star.
He's got the facial hair. He's got the looks. He's got the aggressive charm, so to speak. But he promises Cersei after her refusal for marriage. He promises Cersei
A gift, which we find out in the next episode,
So,
which we will get into.
We'll get to. But
we'll get to
you
that.
know, I think we can both agree. I felt like instantly, I was like, oh, he's gonna bring Tyrion back to King's Landing.
I thought it was gonna be Tyrion, but
But yeah, so anyway, so that's basically
and the last
final establishing shot of episode 1
is Daenerys
coming on home.
I'm coming home. But anyways,
oh man, Paul Walker feels right there.
She
makes it to Dragonstone.
Yeah, she makes it to Dragonstone, and she walks into the throne room, runs her hands along the map that Aegon, her great one of those grandfather built when he went and took out the Seven Kingdoms, and looks at the head of it and says, "Shall we begin?"
Yeah, and so
cut to black.
Cut to black. So I mean, that was a really good first episode. Not a whole lot of action, but a whole lot of information to digest. So that segues straight immediately into the second episode, Stormborn. Normally we'd have separate videos, but we're gonna bring you our episode 2 here right now. So we automatically start off back at Dragonstone. We see Daenerys. She's got her round table of all of her, basically her group of badass women.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at it, all of her whole council, except for Tyrion, because
Tyrion
is technically
and
the head,
and
Varys, but
and
see,
Varys.
they're only advisors. In terms of heads of households,
Mm-hmm.
all of them are women. You know, we got
Euron Greyjoy. No, not
Euron. He got a sister.
What's her name? Yara.
Yeah, he leaves. We have Yara, because remember, Theon said he wasn't fit to rule. You have
Because,
Yara. For
anyways,
reasons. Yara is in charge of the Greyjoys, and then we have Mama Sandsnake in charge of the Martells.
And Mama Tyrell.
Mama Tyrell. I mean, she's the only surviving Tyrell. I mean, we had
And basically,
Cersei completely obliterated, Father Tyrell and Marjorie and her brother at the Sept.
Iron Fist. So basically what happens in this scene is they're talking about how Daenerys was born in a storm like this. It's storming really bad, and they get on to talking about how Varys only pretty much only serves a king.
He
or
only
queen
serves the king or queen
when it's suitable. And Daenerys pretty much called his bluff and said, "Support me."
Well, yeah. I mean, he's gonna support whoever he needs to support to survive. I mean, we know that part of it was genuine, part of it was not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know that in the world of Game of Thrones, as Cersei says,
you play the
Game of Thrones,
or you die.
You live or you die, basically.
But what happened next? It was
we had remember they have the round table, and that was a big moment because we see that all of the heads of power are all women, and so Tyrion suggests a plan to send all of the Martell, the Dornishmen, send them over to look after what was it? They were going to look over Sunspear. That was it. They looked over Sunspear, and that they were going to send Yara and Theon's group of people to Casterly Rock. They're going to Casterly Rock, remember? Because
I thought it was the Unsullied. The Unsullied are going
to Casterly Rock, and then they go, and then the Dornishmen are
going back to
just going to Sunspear.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, then they're taking Theon and Yara and the Martells are heading back. They're heading back, I think, to Dorne to get, I think it was to gather more men. And so we see we go back to Dragonstone. Everyone departs. We have Melisandre making her big entrance after being exiled by Jon from the North at the end of the last season, and she unveils the prophecy, of the prince who was promised.
And Daenerys takes offense to that, and then Missandei, that's how you pronounce her name, right?
Oh, you're talking about her advisor? Yeah, Missandei.
She says, well, actually, Daenerys, it can
be interpreted either way.
It can be interpreted either way.
The prince or the princess who was promised.
And then Melisandre tells them about
Jon.
Wait, no. Does the Raven come in, or does she tell him about it?
No. Melisandre basically affirms this.
That she believes that Jon is the
Daenerys. Well, not so much that Jon is the prince that's promised, but basically that Daenerys and Jon's destinies are intertwined, and that basically that it would be in Daenerys' best interest for Jon to come to Dragonstone by her invitation, and for them to ally against Cersei and the Lannisters. And so, of course, Tyrion thinks that's a wonderful idea, knowing who Jon is. And if Tyrion says it's a wonderful idea, then by God, it's a wonderful idea.
And then they go back to Winterfell, and Sansa's reading the.
Oh, you're skipping a main part.
Sorry.
You gotta come on. You go ahead. Our friend Grey Worm and Missandei.
Oh yeah, that happened.
So
that happened.
So the man with no penis got it.
Well. He might have one. He just might not have the other part. I mean, he might not have.
Well, you can't really do anything without the other if you.
Yeah.
Anyways, they basically unveiled
that happened.
They basically show their love for one another. I mean, it was a touching moment. He finally gets his for no pun intended. It's a touching moment.
He's gonna be walking into the throne room tomorrow, real happy. Let me just say that much. But
anyway, so then we cut back to King's Landing. Cersei's gathering all the lords of the Seven Kingdoms that are willing to answer and come to her call.
And doing exactly what Tyrion said she was going to do, play on their fears. We didn't talk about that, but while they were talking about like how they were going to attack, Tyrion pretty much said that Cersei's going to play to the lord's fears, yada, 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 warmonger, blah, blah, blah.
Remember talking about how all the, why am I drawing a blank now?
All the lords of Westeros remember the Mad King or something like that?
Well, I mean, they kind of talk about that. They basically infer about Daenerys bringing in, but no, bringing in the
dragons.
No, I mean the dragons, yes, but I mean the biggest threat they made was
the Dothraki.
Yeah,
it was
saying
the
how the Dothraki haven't been to Westeros,
and they're gonna rape
in many lifetimes,
and they were gonna rape and pillage and
just
so
take over and just spread all across Westeros, which nobody would really want that to happen, except of course Daenerys and her allies. So, but we do see Jaime taking one, not taking one for the team, but really helping out his sister. He actually corners, gently Samuel Tarly's father, Randall Tarly, and he's actually pledged to House Tyrell, who's working for Daenerys. And so he makes the proposition, hey, you ally yourself with Cersei. When this is all said and done, I'll make the Tarleys, make the Tarleys
Wardens of the South.
Wardens of the South, exactly.
And he pretty much tells Jaime to go screw himself. I'm not gonna stab anybody in the back. I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of honor.
But he could have a change of heart depending on how everything goes. So, I mean, you never. That's a big point.
Jumping back in, now that all the lords have left the meeting room, we see Qyburn, who's kind of been like Cersei's right hand man, so to speak.
He's so creepy.
Yeah, he takes Cersei below to Robert's like personal what was it? It
was where Robert had all the
trophies, but it was Robert's personal. Robert's personal.
House.
Like he didn't. Remember, guys, they said Robert took the whores down there, But the most thing of importance is that we see Qui-Gon show Cersei all the dragon skulls.
Specifically,
from
Lyrian how do you pronounce the dragon's name? Lyrian the Black Dread, or
yeah, it was, and it was probably it was the biggest dragon. It was the dragon that was fighting against.
It was the one that Aegon rode to the Seven Kingdoms.
Exactly,
the one that made the Iron Throne.
Exactly, and so we see his skull, and they said that Qui-Gon reveals to Cersei that the dragon was it Drogon?
Drogon got injured by spears in the battle
Slayer's
in the
Bay.
ring.
In the Slayer's Bay, and so he's basically like, listen, if it can be hurt by spears, that are thrown by on the ground,
or if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Oh my god. Anyways, it's always a good time for a Predator reference. But anyways, so he basically is like, listen, these dragons, we can take them out. They're not immortal. So we kind of really see that as of right now, both sides are actually evenly matched. It's not like, one side has the upper hand over the other. But
all I'm going to say about these dragons is, listen.
Stay far up high if you can.
That, and do not be a rickhorn. Do not fly straight. You better zig and you better zag.
Better zig and zag. So, but anyways, so when we cut back to the north after learning that, their plan to take out the dragons, we cut back to Arya at the tavern with Hot Pie. Good old Hot Pie. Everyone loves Hot Pie.
It's good to see Hot Pie. I mean, all of this, everything's going to hell. The Night King is coming down.
And he's survived all 7 seasons so far.
That, and I mean, the dude's got a steady job. I mean, he hasn't lost any weight probably because he's been eating
all the pies that he cooks.
But I mean, it's really good to see that he's still going on hard. However, he's probably gonna die very soon.
Yeah, he's fat like me in every winter, just like really puffed up, nice big in the face, eating lots of pie, McDoubles, everything. Anyways, he would be perfect for McDonald's.
Hot Pie basically goes on and tells Arya
the biggest piece of news that the Boltons are gone.
Arya says, "Yeah, I'm going down to King's Landing to try to kill the Queen," and Hot Pie's like, wait a minute, what?
Why wouldn't you go back to the north?
Why would you not go home? The Boltons live there, don't they? No.
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow came down with an army of wildlings and took Winterfell back. So
bastards, yo!
Why don't you just go home? Just go home. Don't you want to go to your home? Sorry.
Go back to.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Happy Gilmore. Sorry.
I know. We're going to be quoting all the time. But anyways, so we finally see Arya sit there, and in a moment of so much kind of weakness, because she really wants to go to King's Landing to just slap the bejesus out of Cersei with a sword. But she decides, it's way smarter. You never know what's going to happen. She heads north to Winterfell to meet up with Jon. No more Paul Walker feels on this episode.
Well, it was Rihanna, not Paul Walker.
Well, but no, Rihanna didn't do "I'm Coming Home." That was Skylar Grey.
You should.
That's Skylar Grey and P Diddy. Just see, we're gonna do just music.
Sorry.
So, anyways,
in the comments.
So Jon finally gets a raven, and he gets 2 important ravens. He gets the raven finally with the message from Samwell from episode 1, basically saying, "Hey, Dragonstone. Underneath Dragonstone is a bunch of dragonglass. Dragonglass is
mountain of dragonglass.
So bye for White Walkers if you touch them with dragonglass.
And also dragons. And I also got another letter
from my wife,
from my future wife/aunt. However that's gonna work. But hey,
he's referring to Jon. I actually met in real life, Amelia Clark. I'm single. Anyways, in my dreams.
Why?
In my dreams. So, anyways, Jon accepts the invitation from Daenerys, and technically from Tyrion, on Daenerys' behalf.
And as soon as he accepts it, everyone loses their collective shit.
They're like, wanting to throw plates and, freaking out, and they're like, "You can't leave. You just became king. What are you gonna do?"
And
like,
do you not remember what the Mad King did to our family? He burned our grandfather.
So yeah, so he
And a
he's
Targaryen
still,
cannot be trusted, dude from the Vale.
So
Can't
he-
remember your name because you're not important.
not there's so many
Sit
characters,
down.
there's so many characters in Game of Thrones that you'll never know the name, but you'll know them by what they look like. But
You
so
know,
everyone,
you know who I'm talking about, people.
so everybody is basically at his round table like, yo, this is not a good idea. Sansa's like, it's not a good idea. Of course, you see Littlefinger with a little grin on his face, just smirking away in the corner somewhere, doing what Littlefinger does, plotting away. But finally, I mean, there's no change in Jon's mind. He's going to Dragonstone. He's going to meet with Daenerys. That's going to be the best thing that ever happened to Game of Thrones. So, but he leaves Sansa in charge of, you know, and if technically she's actually in charge, she's the head Stark.
She's the only Stark as of right now.
I mean, Jon is a Stark, but he's only half Stark. He's not, you know, he's not the son of Eddard and
Whoever. I mean, well,
no, like
Catelyn,
and
yeah.
Catelyn Stark.
I thought you meant
so.
like
Sansa has technically Sansa has the
More
more claim to the North, but Jon has more claim to the overall Iron Throne in the Seven Kingdoms. But anyways, he leaves Sansa in charge. We see Jon meeting up with Littlefinger in the crypts.
And
he just chokes.
He pulls a
Sean Bean on him.
Yeah, he pulls
Season
his head
1 throwback.
and just, nope. Shut up.
He's like, finally someone choked. Well, kind of poetic. I mean, it was a callback to season 1 when Eddard Stark choked Littlefinger for basically because he knows Littlefinger's a little
like
snake.
uncle, like nephew.
So I mean, so he's basically like, you touch my sister, you talk to my sister,
I'm gonna kill you.
You breathe any air around my sister, you eat an Oreo cookie around my sister.
I'm gonna
kill you. So I mean, I honestly don't see Littlefinger surviving this season. I feel like Jon or somebody's gonna come back and kill. Actually, I feel like Brienne is gonna kill him.
Dude, at this point,
She's been waiting to kill him.
Well, the thing is, as Jon leaves, we see the last shot of Littlefinger.
Looking up at Sansa.
And the wheels are turning. He's like, okay, I've got X amount of days till he comes back, so I gotta work quick. Cause
Well, he's got to work quick, but I mean, you have all of his allies are at Winterfell right now. So I mean, Sansa's in good hands, but Littlefinger's still, you know, conniving little snot. So, but anyways, we cut back now over to the last part of the episode.
And
we have Yara and Theon on their fleet heading back to Dorne
with Lady Martell.
Lady Martell,
Yeah.
and Sand Snakes.
And Euron, the girl Greyjoy. Why am I
Yara and Lady Martell have a little flirtation going on, teasing Theon.
And as soon
as things start looking good for the Daenerys and her army,
Uncle Euron comes a knocking.
Just come on, busting open the door, and it's like, hey, I'm here, and my ships are better than yours.
Give your uncle a kiss.
And so Euron shows up, strapped to the hilt with, you know, bloodthirsty men. And
kills.
Well, yeah, very poetic. He kills both Oberyn and Nymeria with their own weapons. He chokes Nymeria out with her whip, and then he kills Oberyn with her throwing knife. No, not throwing knives. She had the one that survives had the throwing knives. Who had the
spear?
The spear. Yes, he stabs her with the spear and like lifts her up, and then has her like hanging off the ship, and then he hangs the other.
Brutal.
Yeah, and then hangs the other sister off the mast.
And the last thing we see is a standoff between Euron, who now has Yara, and
has her at knife point.
Yeah, at knife point, and Theon
just coming around the corner like, "Hey, I'm gonna save you."
And then
and
then Euron calls him a couple of choice words. I'm not gonna repeat them because
spoiler alert: they're not much. They're not good for. They're only here for HBO audiences.
Yes,
and we're all HBO audiences because we all watch Game of Thrones, but we're not gonna repeat them here.
Considering I said something earlier that I probably shouldn't have said, but I apologize. But yeah, he pretty much looks
goads him into doing something, and of course he does something all right. He just straight. He's like, bye, sister, bye.
I'm sorry. You were reaching Theon. This is Reek. Please leave a message at the tone.
The water was the DMs, and Theon slid right into those DMs, right out of that battle.
Bye.
But now Euron has completely decimated the ships. He has taken Lady Martell and the last Sand Snake daughter, and Yara, if I didn't say that, he's taken them all captive. And the episode ends with Theon looking sad,
Is he falling back
to Reed? We won't know. I mean, he's got to grow a pair.
But is he? I mean, he can't really do that.
He's got to grow a pair internally.
But is he following them back to Sunspear?
Well, there's no way he's swimming after that boat. I mean, if anything, he's going to get picked up by somebody, and he's going to head back to Dragonstone and say, "Hey, we just got, our royal butts kicked, and this plan did not go well."
It's like, hey, Daenerys, guess what? We lost your fleet. Because I'm a wimp. I'm sorry. Don't kill me.
Well, it benefit to Theon, though. Theon has really stepped up after, helping Sansa escape and keeping her protected and risking his life for her. And, he had a lot of moments that he was very weak, but I think Game of Thrones has done that really well, where they've taken characters like Jaime Lannister, who we all hated, like
turned him into
a character that you really like and you root for.
Would he be considered an anti-hero?
Well, I don't know, because he's almost turned into not so much a hero, but he's definitely turned into a man of honor and discipline, and he's really kind of stepped up from that whole playboy, doesn't care about anyone except Cersei. I mean, he doesn't care about anyone but Cersei because that's all he has. But I mean, he's got, But anyways, so that is. I think that's it. That's our recap of Dragonstone and Stormborn of Game of Thrones season 7.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. We hope you liked it. Let us know that you liked it by liking the video, commenting below, and subscribing to our channel for more future content from the Injustice Nerds Among Us podcast.
And look in the description below to follow us on Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram for behind-the-scenes videos and video updates.
We really hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.
See you guys.